I have here's a big thing that I want to focus my time on, which is, well, I'm gonna take a step back, which is I want to hear what your thoughts um, about an epidemic, about income inequality, about capitalism, about a world that we live in right now. And I don't even know where you are in the world. I'm in the US. Um,
Yeah, I'm in the U.S.
I want to know. I want to know. I want to be able to, if I'm going to be, if I can make a dent, and I know these are buzzwords, but still, I'm trying to focus on that. I'm trying to focus on what comes next after capitalism, and um, and I want to study and research, and that's my journey, which is to fix what I believe is um, almost an incurable problem. That's a big thing. Whether I'm full of shit, and whether I'm arrogant, whether I'll look in the mirror and say, "Who am I? I'm nothing. I'm insignificant. Who cares that I've written 6 books? I can do that. I have no problem doing that." Um, but that's where I'm being drawn to, which is to fight or lead or be a part of something that can actually say it's time for change. And I'll take any criticism but
No. I mean, it's like I said earlier. I keep coming back to the same things. Whatever you're passionate about, that's what you're passionate about. So
well, that's why I
whatever.
try and connect with like-minded people. But what are your thoughts
Well,
about
I'm
that?
not like-minded in that regard because I don't care about the world.
I didn't
So
say you. I'm just saying.
no, but you're talking about like capitalism and what's the next thing after capital. Like those are all worldly things. I'm not interested.
Is that not a good question to ask?
No, it's what your passion is. So there's no good or bad. It's I'm not interested in worldly things. I'm not interested in what comes after capitalism and what's going on in the world and the state. I don't care. That isn't my focus. I'm not interested in the world. I'm interested in truth. So I already dismissed the world wholeheartedly. I mean, just one big basket. You're talking about what goes on in the world. I don't care. The whole world is not interesting to me. So I don't care about the details of the world and the capitalism, the politics, and the X. I don't care. I'm not saying you shouldn't care. You clearly do. That's your interest. So you have to go by what your interests are.
But don't you feel
That isn't a real question. Obviously, I don't. So
no,
for
I
you
know.
to begin any sentence with "Don't you feel" isn't a real question. That's a leading question. That's an attempt at convincing. That isn't a real question. Don't you feel?
And if I started it with "do you,"
Well, you can cosmetically change anything you want. It's all about getting the essence of what I'm saying.
well, I was gonna ask you, um, and and I was gonna say in the words, don't you feel like you have a? I know the answer is no, but don't. I was gonna say, don't you feel that you have an opportunity, an obligation, and uh,
No, hell no. I'm not
no, I know the
obliged.
answer is no.
I hate the word. I'm not obliged to anything for anybody. No, that makes me angry. I have no obligation.
I know it. That's why I asked you the
Right. Don't
question.
ask me that word. That word makes me cringe. I have no obligation to anyone. Does anybody have any obligation to me? Anybody have any obligation to you? There's no obligation. I have no relationship with the world. I don't owe the world anything. I don't ask the world to do anything. What
I
I'm
have an
interested in,
obligation.
I'm interested in. What you are interested in, you are interested in.
I feel like I have an obligation to you, which is which is one of respect, of or giving you, recognizing a gratitude, for example. I mean, I do. I have gratitude towards you for doing this, for giving me a piece of your invaluable time?
Well, that's just I don't think that's an obligation. That's a reflection. That's a reflection of your nature, right? That's a reflection of your nature. So it's not a wrong or a right. So if I hold the door open for somebody, right, it's not an obligation. I'm not good because I held the door open.
Mm.
I just wanted to hold the door open, right? So it's like I don't. These words are too strong. They're too conceptual. They're too preachy.
Yeah.
These responsibility and obligation, and you have like I don't. These words are like I just I don't. They're like flaming pitchforks to me, right? Whatever you do, it's a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of your nature. There's nothing good about it or bad about it. There's no judgment to it.
So if you in other words, by existing, by just being true to yourself, by just pursuing whatever it is that you pursue, if that ends up helping, then great.
Yes, that's right. And but me saying that, it also doesn't mean that let's say you try to go steal from somebody. Oh, well, I'm just doing what I want. No, that's not what I'm saying. Because if you do that, believe me, inside yourself, you will feel terrible. Well, unless you have no conscience, right? You'll feel terrible. All of us human beings will feel that. If we intentionally hurt somebody or intentionally, you can't hide behind it and say, oh, well, I'm just being me. No, that's nonsense. I don't mean it that way. A perverted mind, an opportunistic individual who is insincere will look at it that way. It's kind of like when I bash on school, right? The nonsense of school. That's why, like, anyone who comes to me, they have to have a certain level of baseline, what's the word? Like decency, right? Because I'm not going to go to thou shall not steal. You should already know that, right? I shouldn't have to say that, right? So if I bash on school, if someone who's insincere listens to that, say, oh, great. I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to sit home and watch TV all day. I'm going to hang out with my friends in the street. That's insincere. That's not what I said. A sincere person who was listening would try to get the essence of the message, not just the words, to not just conveniently cherry pick the words for their own base needs, right? The base pleasures. So a person who, if I bash on school, might say, oh, so the spirit of what he's saying isn't that I should, avoid doing work so I can go home and watch TV. It should be, no. What he is saying is that inside of school, there's a lot of cosmetic things. And then if I really want to make something of myself, it really has to do with pursuing something that is deep inside of my core. And in fact, he will work even harder and he will do even more, in fact, than school requires. That's sincerely listening to me. Because if you don't have that sincerity, you can easily be led astray by my words because you will just cherry pick them like everybody does. You'll just cherry pick them for your own base needs. So when I say you are who you are and you're not good or bad, that doesn't mean you can go out and hurt people. That's not what I mean. That would be to be an outrage specialist. That would be to not listen to the essence of what I am saying, which is that there's no judgment in terms of what we do, but it's a reflection of who we are. And if we decide to do nice to someone, that's good, but that's a reflection that you're just a nice person then, right? But it's not a good or a bad thing. It isn't a responsibility. It isn't an obligation. All these super, 10,000 pound words.